Welcome to MACJ Mic Talk, your one-stop podcast for health, finance and everything under the sun. Brought to you by Somaya Vidyavihar University. We are here to spark conversations, ask bold questions and keep things real. I'm your host for today's episode, Anjaneya Mulekar, and I'm joined by my guest today, Abhay Phansikar, who is a business strategy and advisor and director of strategy, who is here to unpack the topic of business development and international clients. So grab your headphones, settle in, and let's gear up for a conversation you wouldn't want to miss. So thank you so much, Abhay sir, for joining us for this episode. So to basically start off the conversation, I would like to ask you how you got into this field as business development, or had you practically pursued something different and now you have come out into this field?
Okay, I'm a old school old timer. I passed out from my engineering, did my post graduation in 1983.
Okay.
And was in the technical field for almost 17-18 years, right from a software engineer to a chief technical architect of an organization. It was in the year 2000 that there was a global meltdown happening in the business, and for people like us, we were putting all our efforts to win more clients, and that's where I got exposed to business development, and since then I have been taking that activity up.
Okay. So our topic for today is business development and international clients. So to start off, when we talk about international clients, they have different requirements for their strategy development if you compare it to Indian companies, if in you have to talk in that sense. So what are some requirements that they come with when this is what we want and this is what we expect or something?
Yeah, typically if I have to split international clients, they form in 2 or 3 different categories. One is a startup company who is not well funded, but they have their ideas and they want to develop their product. The second set of companies is who have developed a certain amount of product and they are seeing traction in the market, and then they want to kind of grow the business. The third level of organization is they are really big. They are a multi-million, like multi-hundreds of $1,000,000 enterprise, and then they want to set up a much larger team. So there are like 3 different kind of customers that we come across, and their needs are different. So,
okay.
So if I were to look at a startup, they look at resources which are very skilled, who will be able to deliver fast, who are not so much worried about how the process is, and they are like an extended part of that team, and jointly everyone works together to bring the product to the market. A reasonably stabilized company wants to build a whole lot of features which may not be core to the product. Like if they have developed a supply chain product, then they want to integrate with various different other solutions, maybe a payment gateway, maybe a trucking solution, maybe a inventory management solution. Now these are the requirements that are ancillary to the product. So while they develop the core product of supply chain, all these peripheral integrations, they need some other team to develop, and that's where they reach out to people like us to get that work developed. The third set of people is they are looking at scaling up very fast, and they want to create an offshore development center.
Okay.
So it's like their own development center they set up in India. They hire large number of people, and that's where you must have seen the IT business growing.
Yes.
There are a lot of offshore development centers that have come up. So the offshore development centers do support their product development. If they are having legacy products, maintaining their legacy products, and also some kind of customer service, like a call center support. Those kind of jobs do come over here.
Okay. So talking about the three types you said, startups, then this little business, we can say, the bigger businesses. So is there a particular strategy that you come up with, or is it different for all, or how do you go forward with it?
Yeah, it is different for all. A startup company will look at a strong technical pool of resource. They will also want to onboard team which has an understanding of the domain that they are working, so that they don't have to teach. So if they are doing some development for a banking solution, they want to understand the people who know the banking terminology, like asset, credit, debit, loan, what it means, and they don't need to spend their time explaining what a debit is and how a debit should be kind of constituted in their software. So they are looking at very sharp people, technologically advanced and very quick to learn and return. A medium-sized company is going to look at an organization which has got a pool of resources, who understand the quality practices, who are very, very process driven, and who know how to build a really scalable product. So a product has two features. One is the functional features.
Yes.
What are the various modules in the product? The other set is non-functional features, whether it is resilient, whether it will fail, whether it will be able to take all the kind of load, or suppose one module or a integration or a API call fails, is it going to affect the rest of the modules? So all those kind of things. So they need people who understand both the functional and non-functional aspects of the product, and that's where they look at. For the third set of companies, they are looking at your ability to onboard a large team. So how is your recruitment practice? From which institutions are you taking the resources? How are you training the resources? How do you retain them in your company? Because everyone wants a resource who is going to work with them to work long term. And what are your career paths for those resources? So they all look at all those aspects along with your technology skills.
So when we talk about bigger companies like Apple or Amazon, so do they use business developers from outside, or do they you recruit them, or in that sense, such big companies, do they do this practice, do you think, or they have inbuilt business development, like in that big sense?
A company like Amazon, their work is to sell to their customers. So the business development people that work with Amazon are people who are selling Amazon products to the market. Now if Amazon wants to set up an offshore development center here, they would generally try to partner with a company. So I am on this side of the business, where I am going and selling to Amazon that why you should partner with someone like my company.
Okay. So when we talk about international companies and our Indian companies in that sense, who have started in India and have now become nationwide, so do you see a difference in the way they function with business in that sense, or is it almost similar?
Well, there are certain differences over there. When it comes to Indian companies, and for me as a business development person, I generally find the decision making in Indian companies may be slightly longer. There are a lot of implicit requirements which they don't tell us upfront.
Okay.
And there is a general feeling that whatever we are charging, they always tend to find it kind of expensive. Whereas if I were to work with a international organization, then those clients have a clarity of thought. Those clients know that if they have asked you to do a certain amount of work, and if there's any additional work that's required to be done, then they need to pay for that. They need to factor additional time for that. So all those considerations are much better with international customers. I mean, that's the experience.
Yes.
That's my experience with some of the customers that I have dealt. So it might be slightly easy to kind of work with international customers, and it might be slightly easy to get business here in India because it's easy to meet those people, talk to them, and build relations faster. So there is a kind of advantage and disadvantage of working with both kind of customers.
So one can say both there are pros and cons for each.
Yes.
So not going too political also, but do you think that when there is this business developments, foreign companies are coming to India to do this strategy, do you think there is also a political relation building between those two countries? Does that help, you think, business and finance? Because economy is also a big factor to trade. So do you think that also creates a dialogue between two countries?
Well, the set of companies that we work with, our relationship really does not have any political angle. They don't come to India because our Prime Minister and their Prime Minister are friends or anything of that kind. They may come to us because the trade policy, the taxation policy for them is suitable. So to that extent, I mean, some of these policies do help. But when it is at a maybe slightly more strategic level, that's where the top 5 IT companies of India may be working with the foreign governments, their projects. At that time, there could be certain other considerations that may be involved. But the customers that we deal with, even if it's a billion-dollar enterprise, it's more on our capability and strength.
So it's more on suitability for both and compact. Could you tell us one or two clients that you have worked with, international clients, and some products or some business strategies that you have helped them with, and they are now seeing the success of it in the long run? And that.
Yeah, I mean, very recently we worked with a set of people who had an idea of building a product in the loyalty space. So to retain the customers, they are building a solution, a loyalty based solution, and we have helped them build that solution and scale it up. We have worked with various types of customers. They could be in retail, they could be in insurance, they could be in healthcare. So one other customer that we are helping is built a heart rate and other body parameters monitoring system, and workers who are working in slightly hazardous environments, maybe manufacturing plants or maybe mining industry, oil and gas industry, where the exposure to these conditions are there, and if they need help immediately, they are slightly at a remote location where an early warning could help. So these are some of the solutions that we have helped them develop.
So to conclude, I would like to ask what advice as a business strategist would you like to give to people who are maybe starting their own businesses, entrepreneurs, something to help them in the future to retain their business and products as well?
Yeah, so whenever you are kind of starting a business, you need to understand what is the problem that you are solving for your client. If that is very clear to you, it will definitely help. And secondly is, if you are solving a client's problem, how effectively are you doing that? So these are the two things that will help you. First of all, identifying a problem, a niche which will add value to the customer, and secondly is how effectively you are adding value to the customer. If you are able to define that, it will be a good start for the business.
Thank you so much, Abhay sir, for your time. We really appreciated for you to give your time on this busy schedule. Thank you so much. We'll meet you in the next episode. Stay tuned.
Thank you.